Welcome. The title of this video is Full Moon in Scorpio, April 24, 2024. So this is an astrology forecast by me, Georgios Verbena, for this coming full moon. Now I haven't done a video in a while, but this is really me just keeping to the schedule to give you the latest opinion on what I think about these transits. And especially this one is going to be another potent full moon. One that we haven't had for a while, because this will have so many aspects actually conjunction in a significant position at the same time, but it's one of the more potent full moons for some people, depending where you are at, depending how much work you've been doing during this eclipse season, because the solar eclipse season was about cleaning up past baggage in a big way, like in a really big way, like a tower moment, kind of smashing for some people certain things, kind of making it impossible to keep doing the same thing that we've been doing for a very, very long time. And depending where you are at, it would have been more uncomfortable for you if you've been more resisting to trying to stop what you've been doing before. So the eclipse season was really about stopping people from doing something repeatedly, rigidly. Yeah, it's a de-armoring kind of season, because there was this eclipse season conjunction Chiron, and Chiron is the healer, the wounded healer, meaning he's going to hurt you. He's going to wound you to heal you. That's really the whole point. You see, healing is impossible without a little pain, without a little hurt, a little sacrifice. And with Scorpio, we are ending the season of pain with more pain, because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and of course Pluto is all about transformation through destruction, not through love and light, not sunshine and rainbows. So is it another shit show that you have to prepare yourself for? Is it another cracker? Is it another tower moment? What is coming here? So let's see. I'm going to talk about each significant aspect for this full moon. Now keep in mind, every full moon is a moon opposition sun aspect. The sun will be in Taurus at 4 degrees 18, and the moon will be at 4 degrees 18 in Scorpio on the 24th of April 2024 at 1:50 a.m. German time, because I'm in Germany. So I'm more important. No. Well, universal time, it will be at 11:50 on the 23rd of April. So if you're wondering why I say it's on the 24th, for me, it's on the 24th. For you, if you live somewhere else, maybe America, maybe Canada, it is likely going to be on the 23rd in the evening. Yeah, just refer to 11:50 universal time. So, without further ado, let's get to the transits. Let's highlight this shot here. I disappear? No. As if the hood wasn't enough to hide me. I just thought it would be funny because it's a full moon in Scorpio. In any case, let's look at this little chart here. So you see, of course, a full moon opposition the sun at 4 degrees. 4 degrees. Haven't we seen that before? Yes, we have actually. You see the new moon, the last one, which was it in, no, the full moon. The full moon in Libra was also between 4 and 5 degrees. So there's a theme here. These are kind of beginner energies. You know, if you look at the first degrees of a celestial event, it's the more immature kind of energy. But this is about a new beginning, because this is really finishing this eclipse season. Yeah, the majority of the healing, whatever kind of changes you are going through, is going to be over. But because every full moon is a 14-day cycle, It's going to be another 14-day period for which all these transits that you see here will be active in a lesser degree. Look at each aspect as a theme. I'm going to talk about each theme. It's going to last 14 days. Not just for full moon, but that is where it will be the most active in your face. So let's see here. I noted that this aspect here that is most important and most significant will actually be Venus. Because you see, the Sun is deposited by Venus here, and Venus is conjunction Chiron in a 3-degree orbit. So for this whole event, Venus is really showing us the kind of shatteredness, the kind of shit show in our relationships, because you see all these past transits, the North Node in Aries, the Mercury retrograde, it was all about cleaning up relationship issues. And Venus is in detriment here. In detriment in Aries. Conjunction Chiron. And Chiron is like, it's just not going to work out. I'm sorry. Whatever it is that you're trying to work out, there's going to be a situation which is not working out in your relationships. Could also be financial for some people, but doesn't have to apply to everyone. Because Chiron on Venus is about blockages in the love life. And Chiron is about healing, cleaning it up. So there's going to be something to activate that. Of course, it is archetypal. Doesn't have to be a drama. Doesn't have to be a breakup. Doesn't have to be a death of a loved one. But it can be. Because you see, there's multiple breakup indicators actually. Now, first of all, Scorpio, full moon, Scorpio rules divorces. Scorpio rules shared resources. Scorpio rules getting free from somebody, cutting cords, eliminating. Cleaning up cords, right? Like cleaning up whatever entanglements you have with somebody else. Whatever you share financially, like money, you share with somebody else, cutting that out, cleaning it up. And then, of course, you have the most significant transit of the solar eclipse season at the end of it now, which is Jupiter conjunction Uranus. So let's talk about that. The Sol Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. I really need to take a little bit of time to explain, because you see, everybody says, oh, it's going to be so good, it's going to be so ferocious, you got some great gifts coming your way, or whatever the fuck people are saying about this aspect, as if they have no clue what we're talking about. Because this is a beginner, this is rookie perspective. To say that Jupiter is going to be so positive and it's not going to have any negative meaning is just a rookie mistake. Jupiter is not necessarily good. Especially not when it's conjunction a malefic planet. Hello? Have we forgotten the basics of astrology? Because if I go online and I listen to all these astrologers saying how it's going to be so good, well, have you forgotten that Uranus is a malefic planet? Uranus is about separation, chaos, destruction, upheaval, shock, and detachment. It's about letting go of something, breaking free from something, leaving something behind. Well, why do you have to leave it behind? Why do I have to detach? Can't I just attach and get my cake and eat it too? Why do I have to detach from the cake? The cake is Taurus, it's like food, it's like what you own, it's like money. So, this is kind of, it's not necessarily nice. Okay, whoever tells you that there's going to be sunshine and rainbows, no. Not in my opinion. What I've heard, and this is what I've heard from many people, there has been multiple deaths of especially male people, because it's associated with Uranus, the sky god. It's about shock that comes in the life area, the Taurus area of possession, the area of love, in opposition to the moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is about letting go, it's about deaths. You have to understand that this aspect, it's about shock, in a big way. Like, ooh, let's shock you really good. Because it's conjunction Jupiter. Jupiter is expansion. Blow it up. Pop the champagne. Pop my shock. Oh, so you want to shock me really good then? Shock therapy maybe. Electricity. There could also be electrical problems for some people. There could be issues with technology. There could be accidents. There could be destruction of your car. I mean, not destruction, but like something breaking down. Could be minor. But Jupiter, minor, playing it small, that is not the nature of the planet. So something will be uncomfortable here. I mean, electricity, getting shocked is not exactly comfortable energy. In Taurus, it's about, well, it could be your bank account, but it's not really what Taurus is about. Taurus is really about pleasure. It's about comfort. It's about self-esteem. It's about feeling good about yourself. It's about the joy and the pleasures of life. And we just entered Taurus season, so it could also be connected to cooking, doing something new in your diet, your lifestyle, but also dating. You know, like if you go on a dating now, or if you indulge, or for some people, it could be the beginning of an addiction. Because Jupiter is also the planet of indulgence, in a sign of indulgence. Conjunction Uranus, the new beginning, could be the beginning of an addiction. Could be drugs, because Uranus is nervousness, nervous system issues, anxiety issues coming up to blow up now. Which is also a time of suicide. It's a time of self-destruction, self-sabotage. Yes, you don't like to hear the negative truth of just the simple fact of this is just the aspect. So, this is a double-edged sword. Jupiter itself is a beneficiary, but combine a beneficiary with a malefic, it's the malefic that's beneficiarying here. Jupiter is not like, oh, Uranus, I'm going to fix all your problems. Look, Jupiter's not interested in fixing problems. Jupiter is not about fixing. Jupiter is not about solving. Jupiter is not about helping you to clean your lawn, to do the laundry. Is to make the problem, the malefic planet, bigger. So it can happen. So it can release like an orgasm, or an awakening, or an expansion in your mind, in your perspective. A shift that allows you to cope with a problem. And that problem has to do with the vagus nerve, because that's what Uranus rules, the nervous system. It rules awakening from what? From the box, from restrictions, from the trauma. And sometimes the best way to do that is to cause an accident. Is to do something that takes you out of your routine. Something that shifts things, that changes your perspective, that makes you feel very different about something, and that something is ruled here by Taurus. Okay, so let's make a little list. Because you need lists, because otherwise you're gonna be like, but that didn't happen for me. Yeah, I don't give a shit if it didn't happen for you. That's not the point. The point is, it's going to be something that applies to this transit that's going to happen to you, minor or bigger. If it's minor, wonderful, great. Now, do you want to have a trophy, a pat on the back? Oh, I'm so special because nothing bad happened to me. Get the fuck out of my comment section. I'm not interested. Not interested. So, let's have a list. Taurus is first of all things you eat, things you consume, things you buy. Uranus is impulsive. Uranus is seal the deal, buy the new car, buy the new house, the new property, change of estate, change of land. Taurus is what you have for stability long term. Could be money, but could also be partner, could be commitment, a relationship. Could also be simply where you live, where you stay. Taurus is land. Taurus is also clothing. So some people could just go shopping at that time. I mean, this is like going into the shopping mall kind of transit. But it could also mean buying something that's very expensive. So like the raining. Because Uranus is like, let's just let it all out. Like I said before, it's Uranus rules orgasm. So orgasm in the pocket area. Like making a big purchase, like buying a car, buying a house, selling something, making the deal of your lifetime or whatever the fuck. But it could also be winning the lottery for some people. Of course, nobody who is watching this is going to win the lottery. But this is just archetypically what it means. However, could also be the opposite. Could be losing the lottery after you've drained all your resources and being like, oh no, nothing's working. Let me drain the rest of my resources until I have nothing left. So for some people, it could be homelessness, rooflessness. Yes, it doesn't apply to you. I don't give a shit. This is just what it means. And it also is about letting go of a possession. What do you possess? What do you have? What do you own? What do you keep? What do you protect? Take that away. But because of the nature of Uranus, you won't really care too much. It's not really going to like, okay, I guess this is happening. You're gonna look at it like, yeah, it's just another day in the shit show. Whatever you lose, no matter how small it is, I don't think it's going to really hurt you. It just happens. It's like you have no control over it. It's like there's nothing you can do about it, really. And this is why Uranus is about detachment. When do we detach? When we know there's nothing we can do. That's when we detach. When we don't detach, when we know we can control it, we can do something, so we try to do everything. We detach when there's nothing left to do. So there will be a situation for you, minor or bigger, to allow you to detach so you can move on. And then you can shift into a new timeline. Because this is really the finishing of the eclipse season through this particular conjunction. So there's a shift in consciousness, and there's a shift perhaps also in just how people look at things, how they think, the thinking, the higher mind, the philosophical mind. Uranus is looking at Jupiter also, not just Jupiter at Uranus. Uranus is looking at Jupiter being like, whatever beliefs you had, I am not interested. Cut the beliefs. So people who are very religious, people who are very rigid about their belief systems, who are like small-minded, close-minded, they're going to have a major shake-up. Uranus is going to look at them like, let me shake it up. So, yeah. Cognitive dissonance is part of this transit, actually. Believe it or not. But Uranus is not about, doesn't care about your feelings. So it's not going to be comfortable if there are people who are holding on to a certain perspective or a certain belief. And of course, there's many religious transits here, because we have Saturn in Pisces, Mars in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, all this Pisces at the same time as this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Could there be something spiritual in the workings? This is very internal stuff, yeah? This is very internal. This is not your typical Aries season that we've had, and now we're moving into Taurus season. Things are starting to feel more normal, I would say. Things are starting to feel more stable, like you can calm down, like you're less confused. But to break free from any confusion, to break free from any previous instabilities that you had in your life, we have now this full moon eclipse ending. So, let's see here. What else do we have? We have Mercury in retrograde conjunction the North Node. This is quite interesting because, of course, Mercury has just retrograded into this northward position. still in Aries. Mercury is going to leave retrograde at the end of April. And then it's going to go direct. And then it's going to touch the North Node again. So this is a very sensitive transit, yeah? Very sensitive. Really pay attention to your communication. Because believe it or not, unless you are a clown and you're an NPC or something, there's going to be a communication situation in which you are forced to talk about something that you may find very uncomfortable to talk about. Could even be confusing. Maybe there's information that you're looking for. Something that you need to learn. So you're looking for answers because you don't have answers. There could be something that just, I don't know what to think of this. I don't know how to deal with this. There's a lot of internal shit that Mercury retrograde deals with. Internal shit, because the retrograde deals with things that you want to talk about, but you're just scared to addressing. Because you're not sure. You're like, do I really address the elephant in the room? Yes, please. Because the North Node you're not going to feel like you know what you're doing. Let's be real here. Whatever communication issue you have, whatever you're trying to learn, you're not going to feel stable and comfortable doing it. But you still have to do it. Because if you don't, you know who's going to come for you. Well, karma, you could say. Or whoever the fuck. However this works, because you see everything in astrology has karma working for the planet. When there is a malefic influence, when there is a shadow, when there is a problem to be solved. And the North Node is very much that. You see, the North Node is where you're drunk, where you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, you're like, I don't know what to do. So Mercury conjuncts, I don't know what to do, in Aries, aggression, conflict. Get it out. Say who you are. Say what you think. Trigger. Or sit down, do nothing, observe, and wait until it's over. Remember who's going to come for you. And it's not money that's coming for you to reward you for sitting on your ass doing nothing while your mind is circling, oh, I need to take action, while you're not taking action. So this is why it's very important that when these transits happen, you understand, okay, so I feel uncomfortable because I'm supposed to do something here. Yeah, because of course you could wait. I mean, free will is of course not free, but you have will. So you can just sit on your ass and just do nothing. Wait until retrograde is over. So you don't upset somebody. So you don't make somebody uncomfortable. So they don't ghost you. So they don't avoid you. Okay. So if you want to be in, what do we call it? Low consciousness? If you want to be in hell, then of course do nothing and just wait things out and just hope that at some point you're not going to be a victim anymore, when life is going to magically reward you for being a child. No, that's just not going to happen now. But of course, with so many planets in Pisces and Jupiter also being conjunction Uranus, in a way, we still have a lot of that going on, don't we? A lot of passive people, or people just waiting for things to go over. You know, these people will say, when is it going to be over, this eclipse season? Well, it's going to be over when you did the work. How about that? Oh, you don't want to do the work, then it's not going to be over. But it's going to end soon, right? It's going to end soon, the Mercury retrograde, and this Chiron and this North Node in this motherfucker is going to end. Yeah, maybe it's going to end. And if you've been doing nothing, the suffering is just delayed. Because, karma takes its time, but it's always going to come. But you want to cash in, you want to be rewarded, right? You don't want to be a victim, right? Who wants to be a victim? Of course, nobody. Because that's essentially what it's about. Whenever we have difficult transits, whether it's Chiron on Venus, and to be honest with you, from my opinion, Jupiter and Uranus is also difficult. And when we have Mars conjunction Neptune, I'm going to talk about that next, and Mercury in retrograde, all these challenges, yeah, it's easy to just be in hermit mode, to just hope for things to be over, to just pray to your spirit guides and archangels and God knows what kind of psychotic thing you have going on for you. And just pray to be saved and rewarded for your passivity and avoidance, which is what basically most people are doing. If you look around in society, people love to do nothing and claim virtue and nobility in their passivity. Look at me, I am not the problem. I am not upsetting anybody, not triggering any people, not doing anything. I'm perfect. The statue, the mimic, the sleeping princess, whatever the fuck shadow persona you have got going for you. But that's most people. And these transits, they are coming for these kinds of people. Thank God for eclipse season. Thank God, seriously. I'm so happy that we had this season. I'm so grateful, actually. Like, for me, it's like popping the champagne and finally just seeing all these shadows just dropping. Like, now you're dropping and you're dropping and you're dropping and you're dropping. Cut, 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 cut. Yeah, it's not going to be comfortable. Maybe you feel shattered. Like all the glass pieces just... Now I have to collect the glass pieces. What kind of glass were you dealing with? Thin glass. No, it wasn't even glass. It was ice. A little bit of pressure and the glass is... the ice is shattered. And like ice, when you are frozen, rigid, armored, karma is always coming for you. And the punishment happens every single day throughout your body, through your relationships, through your finances, through your bank account, through your health. Every single day you are punished, even if you are unconscious of it. You are punished. So the eclipse season was to free you from your own punishment. So I hope I make that clear. For anybody who is still confused why all of this shit is happening, it's very clear cut why it's happening. So, yes, I'm an NPC at the moment. I'm taking action. Hello. Why you say you're an NPC? I got a new level of crazy in my eyes. Well, the level of crazy is only increasing as the madhouse that is happening around me is becoming more and more clear. I can see the madness here and there. And, well, in any case, with this eclipse season, it helps to put things into perspective. But every Mercury retrograde, and this is why I'm talking about this too, is to just clean the air. Just to understand why these problems are there. Why is my lamp breaking down? Why is my car not going? Because it had it coming. Don't blame the messenger. So, next conjunction I want to talk about is this Mars conjunction Neptune. So Neptune is about confusion, usually. It's about disappointment. It's about not knowing what to do. Disorientation. Now this is in a 4-degree orbit conjunction Mars. As Mars is about to leave, thankfully, the sign of Pisces very soon, it's going to get into Aries in May. Very juicy. I'm really looking forward to this. Because later in May, at the end of May, Mars will be conjunction the North Node. Around the 20th of May, when I'm going into another retreat, Mars will be conjunction the North Node in Aries. So, to be honest with you, the eclipse is not over in my book. There's more. Wait, there's more. Yes, because as it turns out, all these cycles of energy, it's all about the North Node. Every planet, every transition, every planet that is inner, significant actors, they all had to pass the North Node within the last month, and more are going to pass it in the next month. So until that is over, we're not done. Okay, very important to understand. Because the North Node, what problem do we have to solve today? Basically. Right now it's Mercury. But very soon, it's going to be Mars at the end of April. Look out for that transit, because it's going to finish what Aries started. Well, it's not really going to finish it, but it's going to turn it up a little bit. So what is this Neptune-Mars aspect? Well, more avoidance. More people who are ghosting, who are not taking responsibility, who are not taking action. Because this is... What is this? The depositor of a full moon, which is Mars to Scorpio, and the depositor of North Node, Mercury, Chiron, Venus, which is Mars, because it's in Aries, is conjunction Neptune. So what does it mean? It means that if you try to fix the problem, whatever problem it is, whatever problem requires you to take decisive action, to confront, to take one step in front of you, to see things clearly and to take action, you're not going to see things clearly. Not really. Most of you are not. Like 90%. Because Neptune, Mars, really, is like we're going into the fog. We're going into the mist. We're going into the bog. And it's a swamp outside. And we're just with our katana and we're cutting through the weeds like, what is this and what is that? Trying to navigate a whole bunch of blockages, which we cannot even understand. Like, what is a blockage? Because Mars and Neptune is like a diplomat aspect. It's like somebody's avoiding aggression, avoiding conflict. You see, here's the catch. Unless the person you're dealing with is very advanced, and you're very advanced, which, of course you are, since you're watching this, you must be advanced, then, even if you do everything right, even if everything works perfectly, and you're at the highest possible timeline for this event, this full moon in Scorpio, chances are very high that should you have a problem with somebody or a quarrel with somebody, that other person is not going to take it lightly. They could be confused, they could feel insecure, and they could project something onto you that's not true. So unless the person is like, I know what a projection looks like, I will not fall for my own projections, unless that is a person like that, be careful. I would be more strategic with a Scorpio moon. And I'm not an advocate of astrology, but projections are quite in an all-time high right now. With Mercury in retrograde conjunction with North Node, not knowing what's going on. With Chiron and Venus, just kind of blurring the boundaries in our relationships. Not knowing, should I give into this? Should I not give into this? And then Mars being conjunction Neptune is like you don't know how we're going to respond. What we're going to think. And yeah. There could be also a feeling of just being tired. Not wanting to work. Not wanting to do anything. Remember what I said earlier about being a hermit to avoid the karma? This is quite a temptation right now. Quite a temptation. Please do not fall for it. Even if you do feel tired and you feel like, I don't want to deal with this now. Your head is going to spin. Because Mars blockages. This is a blocked Mars. I can assure you that is exactly what it is. Anybody who is going through a Mars blockage, in which they feel anxious, tired, insecure, indecisive, they just have to take action. And they're going to get out of it. And they're going to get energy again, and they're going to feel better. And that action could look a little bit... yeah, it could look a bit weird, yeah. Because with Neptune, nothing is certain. You are essentially stepping into a situation in which you're just fighting the projections, really. Fighting the projections, trying to like get out of my head. Like, what is going on? Deceiving myself, confusing myself, the other person deceiving themselves, confusing them. This kind of situation is interesting. Now, of course, take it as it resonates. This is not going to apply to every single one of you. Not everybody has to go through this. But it's a typical aspect for a Mars conjunction Neptune transit. As the depositor of all these other planets which are just not having a very good time right now. They're not having a good time. And this is a depositor of the Scorpio full moon, true? And you know, normally a full moon in Scorpio is about doing something that takes courage. Something that requires you to be brave, to be vulnerable, to be a little bit uncomfortable so you can grow. That's really the whole point. Right? You can say that about every Scorpio full moon. And Mars is not helping right now. It's not helping in Pisces or Neptune. It's not helping. So, if you can't deal with something directly, without being passive-aggressive, try the indirect approach. Maybe send a meme. Like, hey, do you know this person doing these weird things? Oh, I think it could be you. Whatever, like... If you're too busy avoiding the triggers, you're not going to have a good time. Don't avoid the triggers. Venus is being triggered by Chiron. Mercury is being triggered by North Node. Okay, so relationships are triggered, attachments are triggered, communication will be triggered, and then Mars will be triggered too. All these malefic influences. Not essentially an easy time. But if you're evolved, like, right, of course you are, then it's just going to be very good for you. Just going through one blockage after the next is like going into a workshop and doing a lot of repairs. And once you're out of a workshop, you're just like, oh, my car is just pico blanco, good as new. That's the whole point of this full moon. So, let's talk about these asteroids here. Let's talk about the full moon being conjunction Apollo. So this is quite interesting because you see, moi, I activate these Greek aspects, as you can see here. So in case you're wondering, what is all this shit show? Well, this shit show is just a bunch of asteroids. And these Greek deities, believe it or not, but they are kind of primary, kind of main players. So moon is going to be conjunction Apollo here. So what does that mean? Full moon, Apollo, the god of the moon, conjunction the god of the sun in Scorpio. Well, Apollo is about healing. Yeah, Apollo was a healer, not just a musician, not just a playboy, like he was just having sex with everybody, but also somebody who's taking care of himself, self-care, self-love, self-healing. I guess that is the main theme. But in Scorpio, The healing, of course, is always going to sting. So you're taking a time out. You're going into a little Four of Swords situation here. That's really how I look at it. Yeah, it's a Four of Swords situation. If you don't know what it is, in the tarot, it's a man sleeping on the bed because he's trying to rest from the mental stress of the past. So there could have been, generally for the collector speaking, don't think you're so special because it doesn't apply to you. For the collective, there could have been a lot of stress recently, a lot of worry. And Apollo is about just let all of it go, just have a good time. Which is weird because it's a Scorpio moon, it's not exactly a good time aspect, but this asteroid definitely is. So actually this is what I'm advising as well. But during this full moon, just try to rest. Try to heal from the stress. Don't put yourself into a situation that is going to be stressful unless you know it eventually will reduce your anxiety. But also Apollo is about enlightenment. It's illumination, awareness. Which is interesting, yeah? Because in conjunction with the moon, there's going to be a heightened awareness about a problem that you have with somebody in shared finances, shared resources, shared energy, cord cutting, energy exchanges. Here Apollo wants to heal that. Whatever bindings that you had, whatever contracts that you have with somebody, it's gonna be an opportunity to heal those kind of contracts. And Apollo does it lovingly. It's a nice energy, it's a very comforting energy. And you have this in opposition to the Sun conjunction Odin. Now Odin is about throwing tantrums, having visions, wandering off, just kind of doing whatever you want. It's a very Uranian energy. Because Odin is the hanged man in the tarot. So this is also very Neptunian. But I said Uranian because it's a wanderer. Somebody who can see everything. So who can see everything, who wanders, who does whatever he wants, who causes trouble because he rules berserkers. He put people into frenzies because he was kind of causing quarrels between the other gods, Odin. This is conjunction the Sun. This is going to be a key player during this full moon. Quarrels between people and kind of just feeling a little bit like a misfit. Feeling a little bit out of place. This could apply to a lot of people. And the hanged man is because, of course, Odin committed suicide, or he tried to commit suicide. Which I said in the beginning was also an aspect of Uranus conjunction Jupiter. Because Odin is Uranus. Uranus is an asteroid in this form, through Odin, a Viking manifestation of the same deity on the Sun, while that deity is being amplified by Jupiter here. So somebody's gonna go, if you ask me. And somebody is gonna go mayhem, is gonna go crazy. People are gonna get drunk on this full moon. There's gonna be accidents, so maybe staying indoors is not really a bad idea. But if you're planning to go on a party, if you're planning to meet up with people, expect the unexpected. Expect accidents, expect quarrels, expect fights. There's lots of fighting going on with all these aspects anyway, so the Sun is, you can see it. You can smell it, you can taste it. Taurus, the senses, physical senses. Like when you drink alcohol, like you can smell the depravity in the person because of the breath. Also people getting sick, purging. People also getting visions, like seeing something, feeling something, wanting to touch somebody when they shouldn't be touching that. Sexual assaults could be a thing at this time. Hey, I'm just telling you what this is. So, yeah. So you understand the energy of this full moon, because this is a whole bunch of drama really going on with all these aspects. I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. And it's been a while, really, since I saw so much being indicated in this kind of way. But let's talk about the next aspect. After I check the chat, so let's see what is in the chat. Don't do quarrels, just feel everybody's option. Huh? Okay. Well, anyways. So, what I want to really talk about here is Lucifer. Because Lucifer is an asteroid. Of course, nobody talks about it because people are boring. No, people don't really care about the asteroids. And of course, nobody knows about Lucifer. But I use this asteroid because I think it's significant. Lucifer represents Venus. Venus is also represented by Jesus Christ. Represented by phosphorus because it's representing the light bringer. It's representing awakening, the judgment in the tarot. So this, in Lucifer, an asteroid, is conjunction. This Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Exactly. Yeah. Within 2 days after the full moon, it's going to be in the same degree. Because it moves almost like a degree a day. It's quite a fast-moving asteroid. So expect this conjunction to be exact on the 26th of April. What does that mean? Well, Lucifer, first of all, is about self-doubt. Kind of doubting yourself because you're guessing yourself. You're questioning. You're questioning Uranus, Jupiter. You're questioning your perception. Also your physical senses, Taurus. Your diet maybe, your pleasure, your love life, things that you're holding on to, your investments. So if you did make that big purchase, if you did start that addiction, if you did start dating, if you did meet that person, if you did whatever you were doing, Lucifer is gonna make you wonder like, I wonder how deep does this go? Is this really what I want? And then you have to find out. So Lucifer is about gaining information. And then Lucifer is about making a choice. By either sticking to the decision or by doing a complete 180-degree turn. Essentially, Lucifer is about finding the truth through your senses, being able to sense what you have to do to change, whether it's your finances, whether it's your love life, your dating, your relationships, or your diet. Because that's all it's really about in Taurus. So that's essentially the conjunction. And for some people, they could lose their mind, actually. Some people could go crazy because Lucifer's issue is going to be exacerbated when it gets conjunction Jupiter. And Lucifer's issue is, because it's the Prince of Air, to kind of get a little bit too detached from the body, to leave the body, to become ungrounded. So for some people, you could feel actually a little bit ungrounded on the 26th of April. If you do, or if you're doubting yourself, if you're about to make a decision but you don't know what's going on, you can absolutely connect that to Lucifer. Because this is going to apply to everyone. This is going to apply to the collective. This is the most significant transit that we're talking about here. Jupiter conjunction Uranus. Any asteroid, anything, there's going to be conjunction that, you can be rest assured you're going to feel it. Lucifer, the choice. Lucifer, the judgment in tarot, when the trumpets are blowing and you kind of have to get out of your grave and you have to get into action. I don't really have to explain how it connects to Uranus, but if you're asking me, Uranus is about instability. It's about not knowing what the future brings. So whatever choice you make after the full moon, or even during the full moon. Probably you don't know if it's really going to work for you long term. So you have to trust your instincts on this. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're purchasing, whatever you're dating, again, it's all about just trusting your instincts and going with it. That's really the general advice here. Okay. So that is really all the aspects. Yeah, I think I've been through all of it. Yeah. Summary? Eclipse season is ending. We are finally getting out of a swamp of problems that were just getting triggered. It's just somebody put you into a box in which you're going to get triggered. Like, you know, when you're with a narcissist and the narcissist is pointing out all your flaws, all your problems. You see, you're not as good as you thought you are. Poke. Just putting chinks in your armor, finding the holes in your self-esteem. But this time it's not a narcissist that's doing this. It's life that's doing this. So you can see your holes, so you can own them. Stop running. Stop trying to pretend like the problem isn't there. And of course, then you can fix it. You can solve it because you are integrating it. It's about shadow integration. And of course, if you ask me, and of course I have always an opinion on something here, Chiron is about shame. It's about insecurity, instability, fear, extreme fear, like, I can't do this. Well, of course you can. But are you ready for the consequences of that action? If you are, good. If you're not ready, also good. Take your time, but don't sit around. Do something. Baby steps. Do what's safe, but doesn't feel safe. Because, you know, Chiron is always dealing with things that are safe, but they feel like they're not. It's an illusion. Because Chiron is the sense. Yeah, I'm going to repeat this for everybody who doesn't know what Chiron is. In the body, in your mind, Chiron, this was really the whole point of the eclipse, this was the whole eclipse season. Chiron is, I can sense that somebody is going to be triggered if I do this. I know they're going to be uncomfortable, or at least I expect them to be uncomfortable if I do this. I expect them to reject me if I do this. I expect the world, life itself, to punish me if I do this. And what is this? Me. Myself. My parts that are exiled, unintegrated, split, fragmented, hidden. Because some mother effer got upset in the past, my parent, of course, who else? It's always the parents. And now I feel like I am the problem for trying to do something that I have to do if I want to understand who I really am. Me. Because it's an Aries. All of this energy. So, me. What is me? I want something, I do something. But with Chiron, I've learned not to do it. And if you learn not to do it, the moment you try to do the thing you want to do, you have no idea how to do it. The how has never been explored. Because you didn't allow yourself to fail. Failure leads to success. Not trying to avoid it, just continuously strategizing, refining, and thinking about it, and just avoiding the trigger. No. Getting uncomfortable, feeling awkward, feeling like, oh no, what's happening? In the proper dosage, just like homeopathy, because that's what Chiron is, a doctor. that's going to heal you. The poison is the remedy. But too much poison, too quickly, of course, that can be devastating. So this is why you need to be the doctor yourself, because if you don't put yourself in uncomfortable situations willingly, then of course life, love life, but life can be a bit cruel, because it's going to smash it with some kind of a crisis, and it's going to just throw everything at you all at once, after for a long time nothing was happening at all. Right? People avoid the problems, just going to the same situations in which they don't belong, doing behaviors which is not them, over and over and over, unpunished. I don't know what this is, but life is always taking its precious time to punish people. And when it does punish people, it's usually more than they can handle. So it's up to you to give yourself what you can handle, so that life can leave you a little bit alone, perhaps, so it doesn't have to punish you. That's generally how I understand working with Chiron. And this is also how you work with Saturn. This is also how you work with a North Node. You work with everything that is about growth, becoming an adult, becoming an authority, which is to create proper boundaries with yourself, but also break your own boundaries when they are too much, too suffocating, too imprisoning. That was generally the theme of this season. So if you are already Scorpionic, maybe like me, since I have a hood, or if you are Saturnian, then it's just like just another day. Probably you've been doing very well in this season. But if you are more fixed, rigid personality, if you are more the shit show, then it will not be so pleasant. Oh no, who could it be? Of course it cannot be you, right? Cannot possibly be my audience that is the problem. No. It cannot possibly be me. But of course, we are all carrying wounds of the past, rigid patterns of behavior, which are not us. It's a distortion. And these distortions, there's a lot of shame around the distortions. Because if we are aware of our distortions, and they are aware of our distortions, they don't like it, we don't like it, we become the bad object. The bad object. We become singing Looney Tunes in the Looney Bin. We become the crazy person. We become the witch, hunted with pitchforks, burned at the stake. That is essentially what we're trying to avoid. It's all about a prosecution complex. It's about the core of shame that is always Chiron trying to address. And to address that, it will, through repetition compulsion, it will repeatedly attract partners and situations to you which are triggering your wound, because they bring the problem that you are trying to avoid by not being the problem yourself. Chiron is about allowing yourself the grace, the humility, to be the problem just a little bit. To be the problem, what does it mean? You're not the problem. Of course not. You're the object of prosecution. You see. What you're avoiding is prosecution. But to understand who's right or wrong, to understand shame, to understand your identity, is to understand justice, is to understand, am I right to do this? Should I really trigger this person? Is it really good for them? Is it really good for me? Or is it just me being a bad object, being the karma? Because if you don't know that, If you have no idea why you're doing what you're doing, how can there be any change? How can there be any awareness? How can there be any healing? And this is why, this is what I always recommend to people: understand these aspects, understand astrology, understand your own chart, understand what your problems are, what your blockages are, very personally, your problems. Because you are not other people. Yeah? If other people have to be selfless because they're so selfish, that's not necessarily going to be you. Could be, but it may not be. Maybe you have to be selfish. Could be. Maybe you have to be awkward. Maybe you have to be a little bit more loose, a little bit more fluid. Or maybe you have to be a bit more structured. What is it? Do you even know where your weaknesses are, where your problems are, where your blockages are? Do you know what you're good at and what you're bad at? Because we have to look at the bad at first before we can make repairs. And of course, if you look at what you're bad at over and over and over again, people usually become the very same thing that they're trying to avoid. The bad object. In their mind. Not necessarily in reality. Who really becomes a bad object? Who really becomes a problem? Those who never look at their problems. Who only look at other people's problems. Oh, but they did this and this is why I reacted like this. Making other people responsible for their reactions. So, yeah. If that's not you, if you are looking at your problems without fear, it's okay, it's normal to have problems, my goodness. Then, if you are not afraid, then you can heal. So if you're interested in more videos like this, if you're interested also in a personal reading, please leave a like and subscribe. And thanks so much for watching. If you're curious about my personal services, you can reach out anytime through Messenger or my links in my Facebook. And yeah, see you in the next video.